Creating a custom report can be really handy. First of all, you may not need all the information that the default reports have, either for yourself or maybe for your audience, that you only want to give them stuff on a need-to-know basis. So to create a custom report, come up here, click on the Reports menu and go down to Reports. Come down here and double-click on Custom. And then it has a list of all the template reports, which I recommend that you don't select the templates and edit them, because if you ever make a mistake, you overwrote the original. Instead, go ahead and select a report here, a template like task. Go ahead and make a copy of it. Then if you mess up the copy, you didn't destroy the original. So here, I'm going to come up here and give it a name and call it, this is going to be my baseline and interim dates report. First of all, notice the period. It's going to be for the entire project in this report. You can click on the drop down arrow and say you want it in years, quarters, and months. Let's just do it for the entire project. What kind of table do you want to pull into your report? Right now it's the entry table. Let's go ahead and click on the drop down table and choose our baseline and interim dates. Do you remember a couple of training videos ago we set an interim plan, and then in the recent training video we created a custom table? Well, that's our custom table right there. Aren't you proud that you saved that as a table, because now you can include it in your report? So there's another benefit for creating your own custom tables, is you can actually pull them into a report and eliminate some of the extra stuff that you would find in your typical default tables. And then down below I'm going to check the box Show Summary Task. Otherwise, as you can see over here in my entry table, it has a list of all the tasks, but I also would like in bold my summary tasks right above them. If I don't check it, I don't get my summary task. So that's important to me. I'll go ahead and check that. Well, in short, I could be happy with this report. I mean, I've got the name. It's going to be the entire project, and it's based upon my baseline interim dates table. And I'll show the summary task, but I can do a little bit more. I can come over here and click on the text button, and I can define the size of the text that will be displayed in the report, if that's helpful. And before I come down here and start selecting the different font, what am I trying to change? Everything in the report? Or click on the drop down arrow and say that just for the summary task, I would like to make them a different font than the default what you see here, which is size 8 bold and in Arial. Let's make it size 10. Let's make that text really pop out here. Click OK. Let's click OK and take a look at what we've got here. There's the baseline interim dates report. Let's go ahead and click on Preview. Okay, I'm zoomed out, but if I click on the page to zoom in, I can see it in greater detail. So you'll notice that I have my task with the summary task listed above, and they're in Arial size 10 bold. And then I've got my baseline interim dates, and well, I don't have interim finish date too. So you can come up here and look at the buttons. If you have a button that's bolded, in this case it's going to the right, it means I have more information over on the second, well, it's cut off, it's moving over to the right side of the page. So when I click over, the second page is going to print off like this. Of course, you have your up and down arrows, so if the pages aren't cutting it off by column, then you can move up and down from page 1 to page 2. So let me go back to my first page here, and a few other things before I go ahead and show you how to get everything that you want onto one page without having it split. In this case, the last column on the second page. Up at the top, notice some of the titles here. It's got the title of the report here, and it's got the current date. It's the project, a Spiffy Software Training Manual. It's got my name. Let me click to zoom out. Click to zoom in at the bottom. It's got the page number, page 1. You can customize that too, and I'll show you in just a second. But let's go ahead and take care of this page where it's breaking off onto page 2 here by coming up and clicking on the Page Setup button. Now you can adjust here on the Page tab the size of the text from the normal size, which in this case some of it's size 10, some of it's size 8, and shrink it more and say, let's look at it at 85%, and then click OK, and it shrinks it down. Let me scroll up, and it was able to squeeze everything on that page there, which is nice, but the text is tinier. Are you okay with that? If not, click on Page Setup again, go back up to 100%, and let's mess with your margins, because by default your margins left and right are 3/4 of an inch. Maybe you want to go down to about, well, not quite 1/4 of an inch, but close to it on either side, and see if you can preserve the size of your text and be able to bring it all into one page by messing with your margins, by making them smaller, and click OK, and see, that looks nice to me. Okay, let's wrap this up. Let's go ahead and customize our headers here and our footers if you'd like. I'm going to show you how to do it. Come up here, click on the Page Setup button, and I'm going to click on the Header tab, and you can see up at the top in tiny text is a preview of the coding that you have down below, and these are the alignment tabs. Do you want the text in the center of the page, to the left, or to the right? If you click on the left, there's nothing there. It's all in the center here, as you can see up at the top behind the screen here on my report. So let's do our own thing so you have an idea of how you can customize this. Let's get rid of all the coding, select it, and delete it. Come down here in the center, let's say that this is for, I don't know, Bobby. We're defining who the report is for, okay? We can go ahead and hit enter. And if we don't like the size of the text, we can, of course, select it, click on the font button here, and then choose a different font if we don't like it in bold and size 10, but I'm okay with it. Click cancel. Let's just get below the who the report is for. And then let's say we want the title of the project on the report. So you can come down here, click on the general drop-down arrow, and there's the project title, select it, and then click add, and it adds it right below it. You may not want to pay attention to the preview up above, it looks really messy. But I think it'll look nice once we apply it. But give me just a few more clicks here and I want to show you what else you can do. Let's go ahead and hit enter, and underneath the project title, the coding there, let's go ahead and add the project current date. Click on the drop down arrow. Now the current date for the project right now, which I haven't changed, let me scroll down, is in 2009. But nonetheless you can add it here. There's the current date. And then down below the project fields, I'd like to add the project field, the % complete. So it's already right there, but you can click on the drop down arrow and see all the project's different fields here, including the interim plans. But let's do % complete and click add. Now notice that I'm sharing the current date along with the % complete. I'm going to click before that code, hit enter, and the % complete, it's only going to display the percentage. How do I know what that means? So what I'll do is before that, I'll go ahead and type in complete. So that makes a lot more sense. I don't know if you can see it, but it says completed in the preview 30%, okay? Okay, so that's the header section. If you want to add anything down below in the footer here, come over to the footer tab. By default, it's got the page number centered, which is nice. We can leave it there and just hit enter and type in, it was prepared by me, Kurt Kershaw. And then over to the right, if you got a logo or some image you want to add in the lower right hand corner of the footer of your report, I clicked on the footer tab, click on the image button, and go ahead and browse your computer. I'm going to go ahead and expand the folder here and scroll up, go to my desktop, go to my exercise folder, and I think this image would work of a woman construction worker. Let's go ahead and double click, and that might be pretty big here. Click OK, and you'll notice that it gave me an error saying, look, the image is too big. You're not going to be able to do this. Click OK, and then we'll have to go back. We'll have to edit this again, but instead of going to the preview, which of course you can click on setup. You can see the image there is not working, it's too large, so click. In my exercise folder, I've got a little icon there. I can double click on it, and there it is, just a little picture there. Make sure it's small, because if it's big, it will give you some errors. Okay, let's take it for a test drive. Click on the preview button, and there it is. Okay, so the text is pretty big. It can't fit everything up here. Well, let me click to zoom in. Okay, once we zoom in, it doesn't look too bad. We can make the text smaller if we want, but it's got what I needed. It's for Bobby Brown, Spiffy Software Training Manual. Let me click out and click down to zoom in. There's my little icon or logo, and it was prepared by me. Looks great. When you're finished, either print it, close out, and your report will always be here until you actually delete it, which you can do from the organizer. You want to watch my organizer training video because we go to it a little bit more in depth, but in short, click on organizer. It's got a list of all the different tabs that you can select from, and whatever you have over here in your project, you can select here and delete it, rename it, and of course we'll go over this more in detail in the organizer training video. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel, get notified of the latest videos, and for only $2 a month you can have access to all my Microsoft Office training videos.